Hello everyone and welcome to my coloring corner. Today is Art Therapy Thursday and we're going to be working on the Free Us from Moja Gates picture that we started yesterday. Now I have started on the top part of the hourglass here and I have used the cloud gray or cloud blue, sorry. Then I went with the cobalt hue, a little bit of dioxine purple hue, and a little bit of sky blue. And the cloud blue I covered the whole thing with. Then I went with a little bit of sky blue over at the edges and a little bit of the purple hue in the deepest areas and a little bit of the cobalt blue in some of the deeper areas as well. So I'm going to switch it over to the close-up camera here, and I've got my handy dandy wonderful rainbow eraser that I was given all sitting here. So I'm going to switch you over to the close-up camera. I'm going to tip you up so that you can see what I'm doing here. All right, so now we're going to take our China blue, which is what we used down at the bottom. I'm going to give it a good sharpen. I put that purple in there so that it adds a little bit of a deeper red color to it. And we're just going to go right over top of the purple hue on the edges, blending that in. Just going into all of those areas that have a bit of a shadow, including in the breaks of the glass here. Blending that down into the lighter area. Now remember, we're going to smush this with the lighter blue, so don't worry about how dark it looks. It will be toned down. I hope everybody is doing well today. I know we just had a live yesterday, so things probably haven't changed too much since yesterday. I know nothing in my world has. My belly is a little bit funky today, so I ended up sleeping in. I got up and did my normal send the hubby off thing, and he went to work really early, so I thought, oh, I'll go and lie back down for a little bit, and yeah, ended up sleeping in most of the morning. But obviously I needed it. It happens sometimes. Now I'm coming down the sand area here, putting that sand shadow in. And extending it out into that blue. Hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing. Just giving little touches and getting those edges built up and getting those cracks to look like cracks in the glass. Alright, now we're going to take our cloud blue, and as you can see, I've let it go very dull, and there's a reason for that. Because when you're putting in that final blending layer, a duller pencil does cover a lot better and give you that squishability a little bit better than a pointed pencil. So if you are going to color heavy-handed with your Prisma colored pencils, I would strongly suggest that you use the dull pencil for that squishability. When you're getting into the tighter areas, you want a sharper pencil so that you can stay into those tight areas. But if you're just going to do a top coat or a blending coat, you want a duller pencil to do that. Now I'm going to take a little bit of the purple hue here. I'm just going to put in a little bit of that darkness back into the edges here. Just giving it a little bit more of that dark edge. Like that. And we're going to come down the edge here. And making that glass look a little bit more blue, transparent. We're going to dust that off. And there we have the first side. Just going to touch that up just a little bit, blend it together just a little more so that it doesn't look like there's a hard edge there. If you do have a hard edge and you can't blend it out, just take your dark purple or whatever dark color you are that you're using that has the harder edge and just gently feather it out, and the lighter color will blend that for you and blend that feather into the other colors. Just getting all of those areas all blended. There we go. Now we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So we're going to take, we've already gone over it with our cloud blue. We've taken a little bit of the purple, the dioxine purple hue, and I've added a little bit into the edges here as well as down the cracks. Not a whole lot, just enough to make the cracks show for me, because I will be going through with the China blue. I have also taken a little bit of the cobalt blue hue and I've brought it down the edges here. Now I'm going to go in with the China blue and we're going to fill in those shadow areas. Now if I was staying true to the fact that this was see-through, I would draw in that skull, but I am not very good at drawing, so that's not something that's going to happen. But if you are really good at drawing and you want this to be clear or see-through, what you do is you just draw a very, very rough sketch of the curvature of the skull. So you would start here. Well, let's just give it a try. I'm only going to do this very, very lightly so that if I mess it up, I can easily remove it. So this would go this way. Okay. Trying to do this with proper dimension. Yeah, I think we're just not going to do that because yeah, because I need a round ruler to get that proper dimension going. Trying to make sure that, because this is the back side of the skull, And we don't want to make it, yeah, it's interesting. We'll just leave it so that it's not see-through. It's murky. So I'm just going through with the purple hue, doing the shadow areas. Areas that are going to be deeper and darker because of things in its way and breaks in the glass. Glass will automatically, depending upon what kind of glass it is, of course, build a bit of a gray shadowy area or a blue shadowy area around the crack. But like I said, sometimes that's not true, depends upon the type of glass and whatnot. This type of glass I'm saying has a bit of that shadowing ability in those glass breaks, those little cracks. Just so that you can see them a little bit better. And then the edge of the glass there. Making sure that it's nice and dark to signify that the thickness of the glass. Alright, so we're just going to color that in. Yeah, see, I'd even have to put in part of the butterfly. I am just not that talented. Sorry, guys. That's probably why I did the other one red. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take our, let's add a little bit more of that purple, I think. Want that to be a little darker. I think I was a little light-handed with it. Keep on forgetting don't want to be light-handed with it because the cloud blue is going to wash it out quite a bit. It's like going over it with white. It's going to knock it down quite a bit. So it doesn't completely eliminate it, but it does knock it down. Alright, now we're going to go over it with the cloud blue. And we're using a fairly heavy layering of the cloud blue, blending it all in. And creating that murky white blue glass. Okay. Now we're going to add some touch-ups. So we're just going to add a little bit more of this purple to both sides here. Just going to gently feather it out a little bit. Go over it with the China blue, blending it in. And that, now we're just going to gently go over some of the cracks. we have it. So there is the hourglass. Now we're going to work on the little girl. And we're going to start with a light peach. Actually, let's start with a little bit of shadow. So typically I would use a grade lavender for the shadow, but because this is so small, I'm going to use the lilac just to give it that little bit of pink as well. So that when I go over it with the light tone, it will pull some of that pink out. And give it more of a pinky color. I know it looks awfully gray there, but it's going to take a little bit of salmon. So going over it with a little bit of salmon pink, just to give it a little bit of color on the edges. Keeping that light area. Like so. Then we're going to do the same thing with her arm. And I had a lot of problems with her arm the last time. Because it's difficult to see. And then this one. And we're going to put in that salmon. Like so. And then we're going to go over it with the light peach. Dragging all those colors together. I know her arm looks a little off, but I'm not very good at drawing these things in. Let's fix that a little. Even on the white picture, it was difficult to see where. I think my printer just doesn't like me. All right, so her dress, we're going to do that in, let's see, let's do it in pink. So we're going to start with a hot pink and pink, as well as blush pink. So we're going to start with blush pink. I'm going to sharpen my pencil. And we're just going to color all of the cloth area. I know it's kind of blending into our arm there, but it won't in a minute. This is just our base color. For the dress. And then we're going to go in with pink. I think that light might be washing it out. Nope. Well, maybe a little bit. And then we're going in with the pink. And I'll also be going into these shadowy deep areas with the hot pink as well. And just gently filling it in. Leaving an area for that highlight in the back of her dress. Like so. Alright, now we're going to take hot pink, which is this one. I'm going to sharpen it up. And we're just going to do the deepest shadows. All the little edges. Because there is no light source showing, I am using myself as the light source. So I'm putting in the light areas as the light source is coming directly from the front. Okay. Now I'm just going to blend that dark pink out with the pink. So the hot pink is going to go have a little bit of pink added to it, just to blend out the harder area. And then we're going to go over everything with the blush pink. and blend it all together. Like that. And then she has a pink dress. Alright, now for her hair, we're going to start with burnt ochre. This one I'm just going to do all over, because then we're going to bring the Varathins in for her dark areas, just like her mom's, but hers is going to be darker with some of the same highlights, shadows and whatnot. Alright, and now we're going to go in with a little bit of Tuscan red and some dark umber. Oh, I do apologize. Hopefully I got that muted before I blew in your ears. Oh my goodness. There you go. You guys didn't see a darn thing. Shh, didn't happen. Alright, so I'm going in with the dark umber from the Varathins. I think I'm allergic to the word Varathins. Every time I say it, I want to sneeze. And we're just working in little flicks. Filling in that hairline. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it is going in, I promise. And I think I need a little bit of red in there. So I'm going to use a bit of Tuscan red. I do apologize for the sniffle. I ended up sneezing, so now I'm going to have the sniffles. Alright, then we're just going to gently go back over it with the burnt ochre. And see where we need to, if we need to lighten anywhere. I think I want a little bit lighter area. Let's see, where is that? This one? Oh, that's darker. Oh, I know I have a lighter brown. There it is. So we're going to use a little bit of goldenrod just to add a couple of little highlights here. we go. Like so. And we're going to grab our blender. Alright, so I'm going to actually grab my burnisher, my Derwent burnisher, because this is a really small area. And I don't want to eliminate the flicks. I just want to eliminate the tooth of the paper there. There we go. There. So now for the balloon, let's do... Oh, I really like the green balloon that I did in the other one. So I think that's what we'll do again, is a green balloon. So we need this one, and this one. Yeah, maybe a little bit of this one. There's that. Not that one. Yeah, I think these ones will work. Alright, so I have some greens here. The first one we're going to start with is chartreuse, and that's going to be our base color. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. And I'm just lightly coating the entire balloon with the chartreuse. And then we're going to go in with some apple green. Turn the page here so I can get a better grip on the pressure I'm putting down to blend this in. I don't want to completely take up the paper, but I want the balloon to be the right proportions. So I'm just going over the entire balloon with the apple green right over the chartreuse, lightening as I get into the center. So I'm using a heavier hand on the outside and a lighter hand as I get towards the center, letting that chartreuse show through a little bit more. Oh, and I'm not on the screen. Sorry, guys. I turned it so I could get a better grip on it and didn't check and see if I was on screen. I'm so sorry. Now the next one that we're going to use is Prussian green. in our dark areas. So those darker shadow areas. We're going to put the Prussian green in. Tip you. I need to turn it so I can get the curvature proper. Otherwise, I'm going to have a weird curve on there, which is not going to look right. Like so. And I think we're very possibly going to finish this picture today. Or at least touch every aspect of it and maybe start a new picture on Saturday. We'll see. We will see. Alright, now I'm going to take that marine green. I'm going to go into that really dark edge. Like that. And then I'm going to go back into the apple green and blend that edge out a little bit. Like so. Leaving that center open for a little bit more of the chartreuse to show our light. And there we have our balloon. Alright, so there is our little girl, the rest of our hourglass. Let's start on some wood here. So I need some bronze. Not that one. What color is this? Not that one. Don't know where all my wood colors are. No, that's a very thin. I know I had a bunch of browns out, but not seeing them for some reason. Maybe I put them in the reds. Nope. What are these ones? There they are. Alright, so we have some light umber, some bronze, some sienna brown, and some dark brown. So these are the colors that we're going to use for the wood on the hourglass. There we go. Words are hard. So the first thing I'm doing is I'm just going to coat it with the bronze. It is the lightest brown in this combination. And that's going to be our light color that shows our light source. There's not a lot of highlight area on this wood because of the amount of veining on it and the amount of movement in it. But there is still some. So we're going to come down off of that with the sienna brown. And we're going to start following these lines of the wood. I'm going to sharpen my sienna brown a little bit. Now, of course, we will be adding more colors to the lines. This is just the initial add so that I can see where the lines are. Doing that in the sienna brown does give it a bit of a red mahogany kind of look. We could of course use mahogany brown for this, but I find it's a little bit darker than I want. So I chose the sienna brown because it's a nice lighter brown but has that red tinge to it. Alright, now we're going to take our light umber and we're going to go over top on the edges, giving that shadow and that dark tone to the wood, leaving some of that light bronze open. Then I'm going to take the dark brown and I'm going to go into the deeper shadows with the dark brown. And start going down the wood lines and some of the deeper wood lines. So I'm going to grab the sharpener and sharpen my pencil a little bit. So the grain of the wood is very important so that you can see that it's wood. If you remove the grain of the wood, then you might as well just paint it or cover it in one color as something that's been painted. But if you're going for a wood tone, wood combination on this, you have to make sure that you leave the grain in there. Like this part here doesn't have a lot of grain in it, but this part here down below has a lot of grain in it. So we want that wood grain to show through. So we're just going through with the dark brown and just highlighting that wood grain. Especially the darker edges of the wood grain there. Alright, now we're going to go back through with our light umber. Leaving the highlight areas open for the bronze. We're going to take a little bit more of that brown sienna. Just make those stand out just a touch with that red tone. And then we're going to take the dark brown and we're going to fill in that deeper shadow tone. And define the edge. And define that edge a little. Alright, now for the next area here. Again, we're going to start with the bronze. Now the bronze is a brown with some yellow and some green tone to it, which is kind of cool. Now we're going to go over with the light umber. Making sure that we leave that central highlight nice and light. I apologize for the sniffling. For some reason, I just had to sneeze, and now I've got the sniffles. Alright, now we're going in with dark brown into those darker shadow areas. Making sure that the edges of that piece are defined. And we're going to go back into that with the light umber, just cleaning up that edge. And then once again with the bronze. Like so. Alright, so that's how I'm going to be doing all of the wood factors. Let's do the butterfly. And we're going to do the butterfly in some aquatic type blues. Just because they're pretty. And we like pretty. Alright, so we've got a couple of different colors here. So we've got light aqua, light green, muted turquoise, and Caledon green, and parrot green. So those are the colors that we're going to use for the butterfly. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to lay down the light color, which is, I think, the Caledon green is what we're going to start with. And we're just going to cover the whole thing. This is just a base coat. And then we're going to go in with the light green. And I'm going to sharpen this up a little bit. we're just going to add that to that base coat, lightening it up as I get into the center area. And the next color we're going to use is light aqua. We're going to go around the wing and make sure that we find all of the little lines. And then we're going to feather it out a little. And make sure that we get that nice blue in there. I love this color. I'm just following the lines of the veining on the wings. And then we're going to take this one here, which is parrot green. And we're going to do the darkest areas with it. Putting in those shadows of the hourglass and the definitions on the edges of the wings, like that. And then we're going to take this one here, and we're going to just drag out from it. This is the muted turquoise, so it's got a bit of a gray tone to it. Alright, and then we're going to just go over it very gently. Bringing those colors in together a little bit here. Like so. And I'm doing this with the light green. Just bringing those colors all together. Into the butterfly's wing. There we go. Now we're going to take our black and we're going to do our antennae. And the body of the butterfly. Alright, now let's start on some of these birds. And I want to do them a little bit blue. Gray color. So I'm going to start with a little bit of slate gray. In the darker areas. Now I'm starting with the slate gray so I can actually draw in the edges of the bird because they're really hard to see. Now this one here is the slate gray. And then we're going to go over it with the jade green. And then just for a touch of pretty, I'm going to add a little bit of parrot green. I know they're not very well defined, so you might have a little bit of a hard time getting three colors on them. So these smaller ones that are off in the distance, I'm just putting a bit of the slate gray and a little tiny bit of the peacock green on it, just because they're almost impossible to detail. Unlike this one here that you can add a little bit more detail, a little bit more color to. Alright, so there's our little birds. So I have touched everything on this picture. I'm going to switch over to the main screen so you can see what we've done so far. So the only thing I really have left to do that I haven't showed you how I'm going to do it is the vine here. So of course I will work on this, and tomorrow I don't have any fun stuff to take a look at or any first impression type things to look at. So I might continue this tomorrow, or I might just take the day off. Depends on how I feel. I have been feeling a little bit icky earlier, I mean. So hopefully I'm not feeling icky later. If I am feeling yucky, I will probably take the day off. If not, then I will come back and do the vine work and the background between tomorrow and Saturday. I will work on this on my own offline on the wood as well as this rose and get that all finished up. But we will do the background together as well as the rose thorns and vines and whatnot. But that is where we are so far. That is all done up there. And we will continue this tomorrow or on Saturday, one or the other. But it will get done, I promise. And we will do a background on it. This one here was done with some pan pastels. So that is probably what we will do again. All right, guys. Until next time, thank you all very much for hanging out and joining me in this wonderful Art Therapy Thursday. It has actually made me feel a little bit better today, so hopefully it will continue. Until next time, thank you all very much for watching. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe to any and all YouTube colorists or content providers that you enjoy. It does not only help us out with our self-esteem, but it also helps us out with our analytics. And of course, last but not least, is always remember to relax, color, and stay safe. Until next time, guys, bye-bye for now.